Sometimes Allah doesn't let your heart break because something went wrong. He lets it break because something inside you has been wrong for a long time, and you didn't notice. You think you're falling apart, but Allah is actually removing the version of you that was built from pain, fear, disappointment, and survival. He's breaking the identity you created just to cope, so the soul He created can finally breathe. You're not being punished. You're being rebuilt. You're not losing yourself. You're meeting the real you, the you that was buried under stress, people, and expectations for years. This isn't the end. This is Allah saying, I'm taking you apart so I can put you back together, the way I always intended. Allah breaks what secretly pulls you away from Him. Sometimes Allah removes something from your life because it was quietly pulling your heart away from Him. And the truth is, the things we love the most are sometimes the things that hurt us without us even noticing. It could be a person you were attached to, a habit you kept running back to, a comfort that made you forget your purpose, or a dream you held onto more than you held onto Allah. You may not see the harm in it. To you, it feels normal. It feels safe. It feels familiar. But Allah sees what you cannot see. He sees how your heart is slowly leaning more toward the creation instead of the Creator. He sees how your trust in Him becomes weaker, while your dependence on something temporary becomes stronger. And He knows when your love for someone or something starts weighing heavier in your heart than your love for Him. So Allah does something that feels painful at first. He breaks it. He allows that relationship to end. He makes that habit collapse. He removes that comfort suddenly. He closes that door you were running toward. And in the moment, it feels harsh. It feels confusing. It feels like you're being punished. But with time, with silence, with reflection, you start to see the wisdom behind the breaking. You realize that Allah wasn't taking something from you. He was taking something off you. He was removing the weight that was slowing down your soul. He was pulling away the thing that was pulling you away from Him. You begin to understand that what you were clinging to could never bring you peace. It could never protect you. It could never hold your heart the way Allah can. And if He didn't break it, it would have broken you in a much deeper way later. When Allah removes something you thought you needed, it is never to harm you. It is to guide you back to the path that leads to real peace, real safety, and real closeness to Him. He breaks the distraction so He can rebuild your heart with clarity and strength. He removes what was destroying you quietly so He can replace it with something that will heal you openly. And one day, you will look back and say, Ya Allah, thank you for ending what I didn't have the strength to walk away from. Allah breaks you to purify the pain you've been carrying for years. There are moments in life when you feel like everything inside you suddenly breaks at once. You start crying without knowing why. You feel pain from places you thought had healed. Old memories return. Old wounds open. Emotions you kept buried for years rise to the surface like they were waiting for this exact moment. You may think you're falling apart. But what's really happening is that Allah is finally lifting the weight you've been carrying alone. You can hide your feelings from people. You can smile when your heart is tired. You can pretend to be strong when you're barely holding on. You can say, I'm fine, when you're actually hurting inside. But you can't hide any of it from Allah. He knows the wounds you never talked about. He knows the heaviness you've carried since childhood. He knows the heartbreak you tried to forget. He knows the fear you've always pushed away. He knows the disappointment that changed you. He knows the pain that shaped the way you think, the way you trust, the way you love. And sometimes the breaking you feel today is not because of something new, but because Allah is finally removing the pain you buried years ago. He brings it out so He can wash it away. He allows the tears so your heart can breathe again. He lets your emotions rise so they can finally be released. Because what you suppress stays inside you. and Allah loves you too much to let you carry pain that was never meant to stay. So you cry, you melt, you feel exhausted, you feel confused. But this is not the end of you, it's the healing of you. Allah is emptying the old hurt so He can fill your heart with peace. He is removing sadness little by little, even if it feels heavy. He is softening your heart so that something better, purer, calmer can enter. He is cleaning the parts of your heart you never knew were dirty. Your tears are not a sign of weakness. Your emotions are not a sign of failure. This breaking is not punishment. It is Allah holding your heart and saying, "Let me clean what you struggled to hold alone." And when this purification is complete, you will feel lighter, clearer, softer, and stronger than ever before. You will finally understand that Allah didn't break you. He healed you by breaking the pain that was breaking you from the inside. Allah breaks the image you built, so you can meet the real you inside. There comes a time in your life when the version of yourself that you've been showing the world starts to crack. Not because you failed, but because that version was never the real you. It was the you that life forced you to become. The you who had to be strong even when your heart was tired. The you who had to be quiet even when you wanted to speak. The you who had to pretend everything was okay because breaking down wasn't an option. The you who tried to impress people, meet expectations, and carry responsibilities that were heavier than your soul could handle. You built walls around your heart because you had no other choice. You created habits to survive pain. You carried masks to protect yourself. You learned to smile while hiding scars. You moved through life trying to be what people needed, not what your soul truly was. You tried to act confident while fighting battles no one saw. You buried your softness to look strong. You became busy so you wouldn't feel lonely. You stayed quiet so you wouldn't be misunderstood. You created a version of yourself to survive. But survival is not the same as living. Then Allah, in His mercy, begins to break that outer shell, not to expose you, but to free you. Suddenly, you can't pretend to be strong anymore because the weight is too much. Suddenly, the old habits stop giving comfort. Suddenly, the mask you wore for years doesn't fit you. Suddenly, the identity you built starts feeling heavy, fake, and exhausting. You feel confused because nothing in your life changed, but something inside you did. This breaking is not a bad sign. This is Allah revealing the real you, the gentle, emotional, sincere, spiritually aware you that was buried inside the expectations of the world. Allah allows your old identity to collapse because it was built on fear, pain, and pressure, not on peace and truth. He breaks the image you created so that you can finally see yourself clearly, without the layers you used for protection. He brings down the walls so you can feel again. He takes away the masks so you can breathe again. He removes the false strength so you can find real strength. When you start crying over things you used to ignore, that is Allah showing you your true heart. When you start longing for quiet moments, that is Allah pulling you inward. When you stop caring about impressing people, that is Allah teaching you sincerity. When you start choosing peace over attention, that is Allah guiding you to your real self. When you begin to feel uncomfortable with your old ways, that is Allah reminding you that you've outgrown the person you once were. You don't lose yourself during this breaking. You return to yourself. You meet the version of you that was always honest, always soft, always connected to Allah. You discover the real strength that was hidden beneath the survival mode. You realize that your worth was never in how well you pretended, but in how deeply you were created. This breaking is a gentle invitation from Allah. Come back to who you truly are. Come back to the soul I designed, not the one you created to survive this world. And once this rebuilding begins, you will feel more authentic, more settled, more connected, and more alive than ever before. You'll finally understand that your old self was the mask, and this healed self is the truth. Allah breaks you when you're becoming someone you were never meant to be. There are moments in life when you suddenly feel disconnected from who you are. You look at yourself and realize you've been acting, thinking, and living in ways that don't even match your soul anymore. It happens slowly. You don't notice it day by day, but you feel the change deep inside. You start becoming someone shaped by pressure, by fear, by people's opinions, by disappointments, by survival, not someone shaped by faith, truth, and sincerity. And the scary part is that you don't even realize it's happening until Allah stops you. Sometimes you begin drifting into a version of yourself that Allah never intended for you. You start pleasing people more than pleasing Him. You start thinking your worth comes from how others see you. You start saying yes when your heart is tired. You start comparing your life to everyone else's. You start chasing things that don't matter. You start living for the world, not for your soul. You become busy, distracted, emotionally numb, spiritually distant. You move further and further away from who you truly are, without even realizing you're losing pieces of yourself along the way. And then, out of His love for you, Allah intervenes. He breaks the pattern. He breaks your plans. He breaks your comfort. He breaks the illusions you were holding on to. At first, it feels like your life is falling apart, like everything you built is collapsing. But what's really happening is that Allah is stopping you before you turn into someone you were never meant to be. He is protecting you from becoming a version of yourself that would take you far from peace, far from guidance, far from your true path. This breaking feels uncomfortable because it exposes the parts of you that changed without your permission. You see how your heart hardened. You see how dunya took over your intentions. You see how much you cared about people who didn't care about you. You see how low your energy became. You see how much you lost yourself while trying to fit into the spaces that were never meant for you. The breaking forces you to face the truth. The life you were building was not aligned with your soul, but this moment of discomfort is also the beginning of clarity. Allah breaks you to wake you up, to remind you of your values, to return you to humility, to soften your heart, to bring you back to sincerity, to guide you back to the version of yourself that feels light, calm, honest, and close to Him. He removes the noise from your heart so you can hear your soul again. He removes the distractions so you can feel your purpose again. He removes the wrong influences so you can remember who you truly are again. And slowly, you begin rebuilding yourself not from pain, but from truth. You start choosing Allah over approval. You start choosing peace over pressure. You start choosing boundaries over pleasing everyone. You start choosing sincerity over pretending. You start choosing your soul over dunya. You start choosing who you were created to be over who the world pushed you to become. This breaking is Allah saying, "You drifted too far. Come back. This version of you is not who I created. Let me guide you back to the real you." And when you finally return to that true version, you feel lighter, calmer, more present, and more connected to Allah. You realize that losing the wrong version of yourself was the best thing that ever happened to you, because through that breaking, you found your soul again. Allah breaks you to prepare you for what you asked Him for. There are times when you ask Allah for something beautiful, something good, something your heart truly desires, and instead of getting ease, you suddenly face difficulty. Instead of the path opening, it feels like every door closes. Instead of peace, you feel shaken, and you begin to wonder, why is this happening? Did Allah not hear my dua? Did I ask for something I'm not worthy of? But what you don't realize is that sometimes the pain you feel today is actually the preparation for what you asked Allah for. Your dua didn't get ignored. Your dua set certain things in motion, and one of the things it set in motion is your breaking. When you ask Allah for strength, He doesn't just hand you strength in a box. He places you in situations where you have to fight your way forward, where you have no choice but to grow, where your heart learns how to endure. When you ask for patience, Allah doesn't simply place patience inside your chest. He gives you delays, disappointments, and moments where nothing makes sense, so your heart learns patience naturally. When you ask for a good spouse, Allah removes the wrong people from your life, even if you love them deeply. When you ask for peace, Allah exposes the things and people who are disturbing your peace. When you ask for a better future, Allah breaks the doors leading to the wrong future. You don't always understand this process while it's happening. It feels like loss. It feels like heartbreak. It feels like life is becoming harder instead of easier. But behind the scenes, Allah is rearranging your entire destiny so that what is meant for you comes without poison, without baggage, without the weight that would destroy you later. You might not like what you're losing right now, but Allah knows that if He doesn't remove it, it will block the blessing He wants to give you. Sometimes a person needs to leave, not because they were bad, but because the blessing you asked for requires more space in your heart. Sometimes a habit needs to break because the life you asked Allah for needs a cleaner version of you. Sometimes plans must fall apart because the dua you made requires a different direction, a different mindset, a different path, or a different identity. You think the breaking is separate from your dua, but the breaking is part of the dua being answered. Your old self cannot hold the blessing you asked for. Your old habits cannot carry the life you want. Your old mindset cannot survive the level you're praying for. Your old wounds cannot handle the future Allah is preparing. So He breaks you not to destroy you, but to remove the parts of you that will block your own prayers. And you know what's beautiful? One day, when you receive the thing you cried for, the thing you prayed for, the thing you begged Allah for, you will look back at this painful chapter and say, "Now I understand. Allah was never late. Allah was never distant. He was preparing me. Every tear, every break, every loss was clearing the road for this." Your heart will soften. Your eyes will fill with gratitude. Your soul will whisper, "Ya Allah, you knew, I didn't." And in that moment, you will realize the breaking was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of the blessings you asked for. Allah breaks you before He elevates you to a higher level. There are seasons in your life when everything suddenly feels heavy. Your plans stop moving. Your efforts don't give results. The people you trusted change. The path you were walking becomes unclear. It feels like the ground beneath you is shaking, and nothing is the same anymore. You look at the sky and wonder, why is everything breaking at once? What you don't realize in that moment is that before Allah elevates a person to a higher level in life, in faith, or in purpose, He often breaks the ground they are standing on. Nothing in nature grows without pressure. A seed must crack open before it becomes a tree. A butterfly must struggle inside the cocoon before its wings become strong. Even gold must melt, lose its shape, and be exposed to fire before it becomes something pure and beautiful. Similarly, you too must go through a kind of breaking before Allah lifts you to a place you could never reach with your old strength, your old mindset, or your old heart. Allah sees qualities in you that you don't even know you have. He sees potential inside you that you've never used. He sees strength that you've never touched. He sees levels of faith that you've never explored. He sees a future for you that is much brighter, much deeper, and much more meaningful than the one you were settling for. But to reach that future, Allah has to remove the layers that are limiting you. He has to break the fears, the doubts, the attachments, the false beliefs, and the emotional walls that you built over the years. You might think, why does it hurt so much? It hurts because you're shedding the version of yourself that cannot enter the next chapter. You're letting go of the things that anchored you to the past. You're releasing the pain, the memories, the habits, and the people that would only hold you down if Allah allowed them to stay. You feel emotional pressure because your soul is expanding. You feel confused because Allah is redirecting your steps. You feel alone because He wants you to depend on Him more deeply than ever before. The elevation Allah is preparing for you is not small. It is not normal. It is not something everyone receives. It requires a heart that has been softened by breaking, a mind that has been humbled by difficulty, and a soul that has been strengthened through faith. When Allah chooses someone for a higher level, that person is first purified through hardship. That purification feels like your world is collapsing, but in truth, your world is being rebuilt on a stronger foundation. And here is the most beautiful part. After every breaking, there comes a moment when everything starts making sense. You begin to understand why certain people left. You begin to see why certain doors closed. You begin to realize why Allah delayed certain blessings. You look back and recognize that if He didn't shake your life, you would have stayed small, afraid, limited, and attached to things that were beneath what He planned for you. One day, you will see the wisdom behind every tear, every delay, every heartbreak, every silent night, and every prayer you made with trembling hands. You will see how breaking was never Allah abandoning you. It was Allah preparing you to rise to a level that your old self could not reach. You will feel grateful that Allah loved you enough to break the parts of you that were stopping your growth. And in that moment, you will understand that every break was a step toward your elevation, and that Allah was with you through every moment of it. My dear listener, if you are going through a breaking right now, please understand something deeply. Allah has not abandoned you. He has not forgotten you. He has not turned away from you. What you are feeling is not the end of your story. It's the moment Allah starts writing a new chapter for you. Every tear you cried was seen. Every silent prayer you whispered was heard. Every night you lay awake was counted. Every moment you felt alone was witnessed by the one who never leaves. You may think everything is falling apart, but Allah is gently rearranging your life into something better, something purer, something that matches who you are becoming, not who you were. He is not punishing you. He is transforming you. He is not taking things away from you. He is taking you away from things that were never meant for your soul. Sometimes Allah removes people to return your heart to Him. Sometimes He delays a blessing to protect you from the wrong timing. Sometimes He breaks your plans because your destiny is greater than what you planned for yourself. And sometimes He breaks you, so the strongest, softest, most beautiful version of you can finally appear. You don't have to pretend to be strong right now. You don't have to hold everything together. You don't have to understand the wisdom behind every moment. You just have to hold on to Allah because He is holding on to you. One day, maybe soon, maybe later, you will look back at this difficult season and see nothing but mercy. You will say to yourself, if this didn't break me, I would have never discovered who I truly am. If this didn't shake me, I would have never grown. If Allah didn't intervene, I would have lived my entire life carrying a version of myself that was never meant to survive. Your heart will soften. Your faith will deepen. Your soul will breathe again. And you will realize that the breaking was never the end, it was the doorway to your rebirth. So don't fear what you are losing. Don't cling to what Allah is removing. Don't fight the changes that feel uncomfortable. Trust that there is wisdom in every shift, every pause, every silence, every tear. Allah is shaping you into someone stronger than your pain, wiser than your past, and closer to Him than you ever were before. And when everything finally falls into place, you will thank Him for every moment that once made you cry. Remember this, you are not shattered, you are being rebuilt. You are not lost, you are being guided. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. Allah is preparing you for a version of life and a version of yourself that will make every hardship worth it. And one day, you will smile again with a heart that holds no bitterness, a soul that carries no fear, and a peace that can only come from Allah. Your story is not over. It is just beginning.